Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Ifa Zawawi. Welcome everyone to the second episode of Ad-Dhiya Season 9, Berkata di Bibir Tersentuh di Jiwa. So for today's episode, our topic will be abominable verbal, norm or never, where we have two special guests in the studio who will enlighten all of you with the topic abominable verbal. So first in line we have Dr. Mama Ferdaus Harun, a freelance IO psychologist. Welcome, Doctor, to IUMTV.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks, Doctor, for joining us in Ad-Dhiya. And next in line we have Dr. Mohammad Mohiuddin. Welcome, Doctor, to IIUMTV. Waalaikumsalam, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
So, Doctor is the assistant professor from Department of Fundamental and Interdisciplinary Studies, Kulliyyah Asst IIUM, or for a long name actually is AbdulHamid, AbuSulayman, Kulliyyah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, IIUM. So, once again, welcome to both Dr. Ferdaus and Dr. Mohi to Ad-Dhiya, which is one of the production in IIUMTV, Doctor. Okay, so before we proceed with the interview, before we dive in depth into our topic for tonight, I just want to remind you guys to give tonight's episode a big thumbs up while we going live in our YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's dive into the first question, and I will go first to Dr. Ferdaus. Okay, so as the opening, maybe this is like warm up for our discussion tonight. So regarding our topic for tonight, which is abominable verbal, could you please share the context of abominable verbal from your own understanding, Doctor?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma ftah 'alaina futuhal 'arifin bihikmatika wa anshur 'alaina min khazaini rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Thank you, Sister Ifa, and my co-panelist tonight, Dr. Mohi. Okay, abominable verbal. Actually, even though I am IO psychologist, it become our interest when communication at the workplace have caused conflict. So I had the opportunity last year to conduct research on profanity, the usage of profanity among youth in Johor Bahru. So I come to cross to know that actually abominable language is not only one form. Okay, there are three forms of using harsh words. Or in this case, there are three forms. The first one is profanity, which in profanity is also includes swearing and cursing. And this swearing and cursing usually addressed towards other listeners, okay, there are other people. But when we conduct research, we found that there are also a form of profanity where people curse themselves. Okay. So we're going to talk about that later.
Okay.
The second form is the use of harsh words. Okay, this is usually words that we don't use on human. The words such as sorry, because this is the topic, stupid, okay, useless. Okay, so these are kind of harsh words. And one interesting findings in our research is actually very unique to Malaysian context. Okay, which is sarcasm. Okay, you use sarcasms. Okay, if people don't understand it and use it in different intonation, people might feel it is a positive thing, but actually it's a negative thing. Okay, examples. Someone was promoted at your workplace and some others come and approach you. Wow, congratulations. No wonder you are so close to the boss. Okay, so using a good words with a bad intention. Okay,
Yeah.
so as an introduction, so those are the three forms of abominable verbal that I've come to cross during my research.
Thank you so much, Doctor. So maybe we'll move on to Dr. Mohi. So maybe from your opinion, what is abominable verbal according to your understanding, Doctor?
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum again. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So I think the definition of the abominable verbal is defined by already Dr. Ferdaus very well. as in my understanding as well, abominable could be in various forms, like as Dr. mentioned, while speaking to someone with bad words, using harsh words. But there is one important point is to intend someone to hurt. If you intend to hurt someone, to harm someone, so this is one of the forms of abominable attitude. So and another form is you can say insulting someone. Is also by uttering bad words or curse words. This is what is totally forbidden in Islam and prohibited in Islam. So abominable attitude has become a kind of individual culture. I don't say it's a societal culture. So people are using these bad words and terms to hurt someone, to harm someone. And this has become in a wide range as well. When we see is a blasphemous speech. This is also a part of abominable, you can say, the phenomenon. And another form, you can say, hate speech. Hate speech is also one of the forms of abominable phenomenon. When talking against any faith or any community, any race, any religion, and any kind of blasphemous speeches or remarks, you can consider within the umbrella of abominable.
Abominable.
Yes,
Understood.
thank you.
Okay. So I think that's only a little background about abominable verbal from both of you, Doctor. But I would like to go to Dr. Ferdaus. As our topic for our discuss today, what we discuss tonight is abominable verbal, or the usage of the unpleasant word, Doctor, or profanity, as you mentioned before, has become a norm in our society. And could we have a general view on the internal reason for how this phenomenon happened, actually?
Okay, the internal view. I think what I'm going to say is related back to what Dr. Mohi said. Actually, when we talk about abominable and the three forms of abominable that I just mentioned, okay, profanity and use bad words as well as sarcasms, in order for us to be qualified as something hurtful, the intention, it tied to the one contingency, which is the context. And in this the context, it depends on who we are talking to, and as well as the way we are saying it. Okay, at the first place, I was having this general so-called hypothesis that profanity is bad. Okay, but it turns out I don't realize even I sometimes use profanity. Okay, but like Dr. Mohi said, not in a bad intention. Thing is like this. Why I said that to be considered as abominable, it depends on who we are saying it, and it depends how we are saying it. Okay, who we are saying it, we don't realize that in our context, especially in our culture, the closer the persons to us, the harsher words we use. Okay, imagine that you are talking to your friends. Okay, if I have a lot of friends from Eastern Peninsula, they will call me with the names of animals. Okay, mo nak gimana tu nate? Okay, where do you want to go? Animals. Okay, so where do you want to go? But if you address that kind of statements to someone that you don't know, it will be insulting. It will be rude. But if you are someone who close and have close relationships, you don't feel anything. And in fact, in most cases, it will be more closer, the relationships. So in here, it tie back to what Dr. Mohi said, it's based on intention. If your intention is you want to insult others, then it's become hurtful, then it become forbidden. But of course, in terms of manners, in terms of akhlaq, I may not disagree of using bad words to call our friends.
Yes.
Okay,
True.
that is one thing. Another thing is based on the way you say it. Okay, sarcasm, for example. People will not be able to detect that you have bad intention if you say it normally. Congratulations for your promotions. It's okay, but of all your efforts, you deserve for your promotion. But if you say with intonation, with facial expression, which is insulting, disgusting, even your words are good, it really hurt the listener. because basically you are questioning their reputation, questioning their honesty and integrity and everything. So in this case, you want to see from internal perspective, and I think Dr. Mohiuddin talked about individualistic. Okay, I was surprised to find that in certain culture, for example, individualistic culture, profanity, especially profanity, cursing and swearing, has been used as one of the methods to reduce stress.
Oh.
Yeah, because you are stressful with the situation, you stress with your job, you stress with your assignments, and then you swear, but you don't swear it toward others, you don't swear it toward yourself, you don't swear it towards your lecturers, you swear maybe towards situation. Okay, it's not encouraged because it's not sustainable, and sometimes it could be have negative effect as well. But we have found that in our culture now, it's become a norm. Okay, especially if you listen to casual conversations among teenagers, okay, among people, so it become like common. For them, it's nothing abnormal, nothing insulting. But of course, there are bad effects to that if it's become a culture. And then, to a certain extent, we found a three different trend. Okay, you can see that there are so many people using swearing in a more urban and suburban area, and more people in rural area use sarcasm. So rather than using profanity, they use sarcasms, and it's hurt more when you listen to this type of words. So in terms of the internal aspect of that, I think we have really to look at the context, okay, the contingency of with whom we are speaking to, and the way we're saying it. And the most important thing is conversations not only involve between two persons. Okay, the other people who listens to your conversation can also have perceptions towards you, and sometimes it may result into negative perceptions about your personality.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So, Dr. Mohi, we heard from Dr. Ferdaus is that currently abominable verbal become norm to our society. So, what is the general overview about this phenomenon from Islamic perspective, Doctor?
Thank you very much. Again, from Islamic perspective, any kind of abominable verbal or attitude or any behavior is totally prohibited in Islam, because if you see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran chapter Surah Al-Baqarah in 83 وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. You should speak kindly to people with kindness and humbleness, with good words. You know, husna, the word husna refers to any kind of good attitude, even how the way you talk, you speak to others, and also the use of the words, uttering the words, everything is included within this husna. And in another chapter, another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Surah An-Nisa, 148 verse number, لا يحب الله الجهر بالسوء من القول إلا من ظلم. This is clear, very clear, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like any negative thought, curse word, bad words, insulting others, uttering bad words or like harsh words. Allah doesn't like to voice up, to voice out as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another verse as well, this kind of idle talk, we can put it within the framework of idle talk. Idle talk is like, is a general and a broad sense. You can say speaking nonsense, useless, or like either you harm others or don't harm others. But if you speak nonsense, if you speak like valueless, if you talk idle, so all these types of talk styles and the use of words are prohibited. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentioned in Surah Al-Mu'minun the characteristics of a mu'min and believer. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Al-laghwi here has meanings, various kinds of types of meanings. As I told you, the idle talk and curse word, using the words, also hurting words, harsh words, all these are within this law. So if you want to be a good believer, true believer, a mu'min, we should avoid this. So in Islam, this is totally prohibited. As I mentioned, that Allah doesn't like any negative thought, any bad words to voice up. Okay, so when Allah doesn't like, and Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also forbid it, from this kind of behavior, attitude. So this is from Islamic perspective, I can say it's totally prohibited. It's not
Okay,
allowed.
understood. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
it is clear that mentioned here from Islamic perspective, it is strictly prohibited.
Yes.
Yeah. So abominable verbal is strictly prohibited in Islamic perspective. So we get there, but I believe that Dr. Ferdaus and Dr. Mohi have a lot more to share to our audience out there. Before we further discuss a topic about abominable verbal, norm or never, with our special guests here, Dr. Ferdaus and Dr. Mohi. Let's take a short break. Stay tuned only on Ad-Dhiya.
Ad-Dhiya akan kembali sebentar lagi. Ad-Dhiya berkata di bibir dan sentuh di jiwa. اللهم صل صلاة كاملة وسلم سلاما تاما على سيدنا محمد الذي تنحل به العقد وتنفرج به الكرب وتقضى به الحوائج وتنال به الرغائب وحسن الخواتيم ويستسقى الغمام بوجهه الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه في كل لمحة ونفس بعدد كل معلوم لك. Jangan lupa untuk ikuti rapat perkembangan Ad-Dhiya dan IIUMTV di semua media sosial, yaitu Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, dan LinkedIn. Ad-Dhiya kini kembali. Ad-Dhiya berkata di bibir, tersentuh di jiwa.
Welcome back to Ad-Dhiya berkata di bibir tersentuh di jiwa. We are still with our guest for tonight, Dr. Ferdaus and Dr. Mohi, to explain or to discuss more about abominable verbal. Okay, so doctor, before this we have already discussed about abominable verbal from Islamic perspective, or what Quranic verse say on that, and also from a psychological view on that. So I would like to know more. Maybe our audience out there would like to know more from a psychological perspective, and because some studies suggest that abominable verbal might come from mental illness or mental health. So what's your view on that, doctor?
Okay, I have to be fair in this.
Okay.
Even though I'm prone to say yes, but I have to be fair. Actually, there is yes and no to the answer. Okay, like I mentioned just now, okay, in individualistic culture, so instead of having mental health, okay, when they have stress, when they feel pressured, when they feel depressed, so they use these words to release tension. So this release tension makes them less likely to experience mental illnesses such as stress, depression, and burnout. So it's the other way around. Okay, so but of course it's not from our Islamic culture, and mostly in individualistic culture. Okay, but there are some truth to the statement whereby people who frequently use profanity, especially, they have mental problems, and it could be mental illnesses, it could be mental disorder. Okay, but to be fair again, not all mental illnesses will make people swear or curse. Okay, among others, okay, if you are familiar with bipolar disorder, personality disorder, which experience mood swing.
Yeah.
Okay, mood swing. So people who experience mood swings, they could be someone who are currently happy and within second they are sad. Okay, on the other spectrum, they are currently calm, within second they will be very angry. So at these situations, okay, how we know that they are in this angry state? With what they say. Okay, they are cursing, okay, they are swearing, they use very bad words. Sometimes they curse towards others, sometimes they curse towards themselves. Okay, people with suicidal ideation, another mental health. Okay, they don't curse others, they curse themselves. Okay, they question their value. Okay, they have low self-esteem. Okay, they feel that there are no purpose in their life. So yes, for certain, for this type of mental illnesses. Another, for example, schizophrenia. Okay, people who experience schizophrenia, one of the symptoms is they have hallucination. Okay, they see things which unreal. Okay, if they feel that these objects or these people that they see that we cannot see is attracting or is threatening them, harassing them, they would reply with harsh words. But of course, they are in the states of abnormal, okay, or sick in terms of their mental health. So they use this word. But there are some types of mental disorders or mental illnesses that makes people keep quiet. Okay, so they don't use wood and sometimes they don't talk at all. Okay, such as depression. So people who are depression, sometimes they feel that they are not worthy, so they don't want to be in the public eyes. They don't want to be in social setting. So they end up, they don't talk, they don't share their problems, so they keep it inside. So these people, it's less likely we can listen anything about profanity or harsh words or sarcasm from them. So to answer your questions, there are some truth to that, but we have to be fair. It's only applicable for certain types of mental illnesses, and in individualistic culture, they use it to release their tension.
Okay, understood. So there's no like a straight answer to that. So
Yes.
it's kind of like partial, whether yes or no depends on the person itself. Okay, so doctor, from Islamic context, we can say that family institution give a big impact, give a big influence to the someone's behavior, on how they talk, on how they behave, and how do this institution adapt to the challenging norm of having abominable verbal, doctor?
Yeah, thank you. If I may relate to environmental factors, so you can see including family and institutions, education institutions, friends, teachers, neighbors, and the community. So when you see someone's upbringing exposes his, this aggressive attitude or abominable behavior, such as if his or her parents are also with the same attitude. So the example, they would behave with the children, with others, with the curse word or with the abominable behavior. So you will see automatically or by nature the children will receive the message. So we say in Arabic, حفظ الصغر كالنقش في الحجر. If someone's memorized something while in childhood time, you will see he will receive it like he will never forget it. Okay, so this is very important in society, in community, even in Islam. That's why Islam emphasizes the importance of family in institutions, how to educate children, how to train them, how to educate them with the morality and ethics is very important. So this is one of the causes you can see that the parents sometimes they behave with others in front of children.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that the children are there and they might receive the same message or same attitude.
Yes.
So this is why families should be very aware of that. Another issue you can see in the school or college or university, if he is like having experience from the friends or from teachers who, example, bullied him in the class or named him with the bad names or maybe
Yeah.
calling him with the.
True.
So this situation experience will have a bad impact on him. So when he will be, later on he'll be using these words to others as well. Yeah, and that's why the family institutions and the tarbiyah, this is what we say in Islam, at-tarbiyah al-Islamiyya, Islamic moral education, ethical education comes from the family first,
Yes, true.
not from the institution.
True.
So you will see how parents will train them the way in they are in. It will have impact on the children.
Yeah.
So that's why families and the teachers and institutions, sometimes parents, they send the children to the school, but they don't realize the situation of the school or education system and the communication style. All this should be concerned about.
Yes, true.
So if you see the child is becoming, rude with rude behavior, or sometimes he is becoming some with distress and with bad emotion, so you should look into that. Why my child has becoming this kind of with the nature, with the attitude. So you should look at the school and the situation, then you should report to the school.
Yeah.
So this is why friends, teachers, and family members, and also the neighborhood and the community where you are growing up. So if the community are also practicing the same attitude as doctor said, the friends are having a kind of culture.
Yes.
So this culture is unwelcomed, okay, unwanted in Islam.
Okay.
So this is what I can relate with the family institution management. So that's why in Malaysia we can see a very good thing, the family management and the how to train, how to educate children.
Yeah.
Even before marriage, you have pre-marriage course. All these courses are very important for the family, for your children, for their future. Yeah, I think, that's all.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. So we can see that from Dr. Ferdaus just now, it's just kind of like internal factor to how they become like that. And Doctor, how about the surrounding reflect to the person itself? They become someone who love to curse or utter the harsh word and so on. Maybe Dr. Ferdaus would like to know more. How does this phenomenon influence one's cognitive state? So before this, we know that we can see that mental health influence them, but how that this phenomenon influence their cognitive state?
Okay, so to respond to this, I will have to put the context. Okay, if you curse with the bad intentions, okay, so what are important here? Okay, one is when it affects our thinking. Okay, sometimes even if they want to make jokes, but they use harsh words.
Okay.
You are useless. Okay, you are bad, and then sometimes body shamings. Okay, if you keep on repeatedly saying the same thing, even with intentions of to make fun of it, just to laugh out of nothing, it will make someone think it may be true. Okay, and then it could lead to a lot of other mental illnesses. So because people think that, oh, I am bad. Okay, I am not welcome. So these are negative thoughts. So negative thoughts will affect first and foremost your emotional state. Okay, your happiness, okay, your well-being, your calmness, your tranquility, your anger, your frustration. And this emotion, when it leads to negative emotions, then it will lead to negative behavior as well. Okay, why people are quarreling, while people are fighting. And most of the time, it starts with communication. It starts with verbal when they misunderstood. Someone want to make fun of it and use bad words.
Yes.
And then these people take it seriously and fight started to happen. So from thinking will leads to negative emotion. From negative emotion will leads to retaliation of behavior. So a lot of things tied together, and it's important to pay attention of what words you say and the way we saying it. Okay, even though we might think that it's only making fun.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. So we can understand that they're just not only influence the people from their own self, but how others utter the harsh word can also influence their cognitive state and their behavior. They might reflect them become a negative person. So I believe that's a lot more information that you would like to share to our audience out there. And I personally have a lot more questions to share to ask both of you, Dr. Ferdaus and Dr. Mohi. But before that, we will have another short break, Doctor. Don't go anywhere. Ad-Dhiya is gonna be back after the break.
Jangan ke mana-mana. Ad-Dhiya akan kembali selepas ini.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin.
Ad-Dhiya berkata di bibir, tersentuh di jiwa.
You're still with us on Ad-Dhiya, berkata di bibir, tersentuh di jiwa. We are joined this week by two guests from Islamic major and also from psychological major to share with all of the audience out there from Islamic perspective and also psychological perspective. And right here in the studio, we have still with us Dr. Ferdaus and Dr. Mohi to share about abominable verbal. So, Doctor, we will continue our discussion to know more on how can a person improve their cognitive to be more positive so that they eventually construct a good behavior and improve their verbal communication. And maybe to add on it, how will it be beneficial for the society, Doctor?
Okay, I think Dr. Mohi just touched now before our break about the importance of community and the importance of culture. Okay, and language is an important element of culture.
Yes, true.
Okay, so in our cross-cultural psychology, if we want to understand about a society, if we want to understand about an ummah, we may also look at the language. Okay, look at the language that usage, how they use the language, and this effect is repercussive. Okay, someone may learn profanity from culture because everyone are using it. So the cognition, the thinking it is an acceptable behavior.
Yeah,
So they may also want to repeat. They may also want to use those words. Why? Because they want to be part of the culture. So it's a danger of if you make it as a norm. You normalize the usage of profanity, the usage of harsh words, cursing or sarcasms. So all of these will impact personality, behavior, and thinking. At the same time, if we want to make it stop, we don't want to make it spread all over and become ingrained in our culture. So we have to start on changing the norm. go against the mainstream. So if people cursing like a normal way, use positive words.
Yeah.
Because the power of words from psychology of communication or psychology of spoken words, the words are so powerful.
True.
Okay, what we call as social support. Okay, the
Oh.
only medium of social supports is language, communication.
Mhm.
Sometimes people undermine with by asking how are you doing today is actually making the person feels that he is not alone or she is not alone.
True.
That there are people who are concerned about them. There are people who are care about them, and it's their mental state.
True.
Okay, it minimize the risk of stress and depression, and most of the times it does not translate into behavior. Do you need any help?
Yeah.
Okay, we just offer our help, but the person actually don't need the physical help, but just the thinking that there are people who are willing to help me,
True.
and makes these people improve their motivation. Okay, contribute to the society. So don't undermine the power of words. So start with yourself. Please control the word that you say. Okay, when it's become your habits, sometimes you don't realize that you are using bad words.
True.
Okay, you don't realize it. Okay, like I mentioned, when the first place when we conduct research, and then I realized, oh, actually I also use the same thing, especially when they are close friend. Okay,
True.
I call him. We may call as body shaming. Hey, fat boy. Hey, budak gemuk. Okay, for example. So those actually, when you don't really careful with what you say, what I think that come out from your mouth, then it's become your habits. So once regular behavior can become a culture. Okay, one culture will impact the next generation, children of in the culture in the society. So it's basically repercussive because of what your action, the words that you use, your style of communication. If it's happen regularly, it will influence others. More people doing it, it will become culture, and culture will inherit by the next generation. So it's very dangerous. So start using good words, regardless if people want to make fun of you. Oh, there is a walking dictionary. Okay, nobody are talking with a proper Malay or proper
Yeah.
Arabic or proper English. Don't mind about that because you are doing something good, not
True.
only to yourself,
Yeah.
not only to your community, but to the future generations. So we must be starting to look after what we are saying.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Ande. And how about Dr. Mohi on how does awareness of this phenomenon actually help Muslim society to be the better ummah? And what are the implications and perhaps some initiative for them to be more aware on this?
Thank you. This is the most important point I can say that Islam, when concerns about peace,
Yeah.
peace means internal peace and external peace.
Mm-hmm.
I mean inner peace and external peace.
Yeah.
So this is how Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam established peace in Medina.
Mm-hmm.
So we know the story how he established Medina,
Yeah.
integrated people from different cultures, traditions and religions, faith
Yeah.
and continents.
Mm-hmm.
So he integrated all of these cultures and people together and established peace. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he would not use any curse word in his whole life.
Yes.
This is what we see in a hadith reported by Anas ibn Malik in Bukhari. لم يكن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سبابا ولا فحاشا ولا لعانا. Prophet system would not say any bad words or curse or insult anyone in his whole life. Even when a story, Jamila she is a wife of Abu Lahab.
Oh.
She used to talk bad about Prophet, and she used to use curse word, and all the times.
Yeah.
But Prophet system never replied to her, never responded to her. So this is how in Quran Allah mentioned that if someone who is ignorant, who is foolish, address you improperly, you reply and you respond with peace.
Okay.
وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. This is what mentioned in the Quran. So what I'm trying to say that Islam is always looking for peace and harmony. So when we use this kind of abominable behavior and words, and we have this situation, you will see it will lead to more stress and depression. And then you will see the enmity within the society, and individuals will create more problem. So it will be a barrier for peace within the family, society, and overall in the country. You see, this is how we are seeing nowadays blasphemous speeches, hate speeches, from different parties, and also extremism are there. All these problems actually because of this abominable attitude. So we need to create awareness. We need to make aware this ummah aware. And when we do have noble character, model of noble character, who is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes, true.
لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ.
Yeah.
So the way Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam behave with others, talk to others, we should receive, we should apply in our life. Okay, then ummah, you will see Muslim ummah is the beautiful ummah, but we are not in a leading position now.
Yes.
Because we lost our ethics,
True.
we lost our moralities. So if we bring these moralities and ethics back, that means we are going to get the leadership in all the stages of the world.
Yes.
And the world will be peaceful and harmonious because Islam is there.
Yes. Yes, true, Doctor.
Thank you.
So maybe we would like to know from Dr. Ferdaus the conclusion for our discussion tonight. Any additional information that you would like to share, or maybe any advice you would like to share to all of us?
Okay, I think from psychological perspective, I think I would like to relate back with your topic, because you put a question there, abominable verbal norm, or
Never.
Never. So it should be never, because even though in even some part of our life and society now, we subconsciously or unconsciously accept, okay, like I said, when with close friend, okay, when making jokes, accept, but without realizing it, it will give impact, okay, a lasting impact. Okay, like Dr. Mohi said, it will give conflict and everything. So here, start looking after your verb, because of what? In terms of personals, it reflects your personality, it reflects your akhlaq. In terms of society, organization, and work, it may cause conflict. Okay, and in terms of society and nation, it may create negative culture. Okay, so for me, never use profanity or bad words or sarcasm.
Yeah, true. And how about you, Doctor? Maybe
I just would like to
conclusion,
remind
please?
myself and others one verse Allah mentioned, "Ma yalfidhu min qawlin illa ladayhi raqibun atid." He doesn't utter any single word except with ever present an angel. Vigilant is there, observer is there, who is recording us.
Yes.
So we should give it our mind this verse. We should be Allah conscious, who is observing us, who is watching us, and we should have this Islamic ethics and moralities. And if there is someone who is having this abominable attitude or behavior, we should send him for the training session or for any other course, and mental course, counseling. And I think that's all. Inshallah, we can be successful. And I would say, of course, abominable behavior is never.
Okay.
It's of course never.
So for our discussion tonight, we found the actual answer, whether no or never. So both of you choose never, to continue or maybe pass down to the next generation. So we would like to stop this the abominable verbal. So all right, well, it's been a wonderful speaking with both of you, Dr. Ferdaus and Dr. Mohi, and unfortunately that's all the time that we have for this week. So thank you so much for Dr. Ferdaus and Dr. Mohi for spending time with us in Ad-Dhiya for tonight. Thank you very much for joining our show, and not to forget, thank you to all the audience out there for joining us in this episode. And don't forget to join us again next week, inshallah. We'll be at the same channel at the same time. And not to forget also to follow all of the activities by IIUMTV through all our social media such as YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And I think that's all for tonight, Doctor. Thank you so much for
Thank
the
you very
insightful
much.
sharing session, I can say. Okay, and that's all. I am Ifaza with only on Ad-Dhiya, berkata di bibir, tersentuh di jiwa. Thanks for watching. Good night and Assalamualaikum everyone.